Hey everyone, Steve here with Class A Surfacing. Today I want to talk about what it means when you sweep or make a mesh or anything down to a singularity or a single point, and why you want to try to avoid it. It's not always glaringly obvious, but it's important that you really understand what you're doing when you do this. And I got other videos talking about it, but I'm going to bring it to you in a slightly different fashion, explain it to you in a slightly different manner. So today I'm going to go into Surface and swept, and as you can see, I've got a section here with 4 segments, I've got a section here with 5 segments, and I've just got a guide. When I have the under section options set to parameter, each one of these corners or segments are going to loft from one to the next, and because they're dissimilar in segment count, all it does is it looks at each segment and goes from percentage from 0 to 0, and then 10%, 20%, so on and so forth. So if this is at the 50% mark on this, this may be at the 30% mark on that, and it just puts it wherever it needs to put it. Okay, so it fits everything based off of a percentage on the length of each segment. Now, in this case, that's not right. I want to go to by points. Now, as you can see, it cleans things up considerably, but I still have this one point, that free floating point that I can drag up and drop and place it at that location. I can also take it and put it down here if I wanted to, however you want that to happen. Okay. In this case, I'm just going to leave it up here. Select OK, and it makes a shape. NX will make that shape. It's great. It does a fantastic job. The issue comes in when I analyze the surface. I'm going to use an isoparametric curve to analyze that face. As you can see, I have a singularity. Everything comes down to a singular point. And in this case, it's perfectly linear in one direction, and in the opposite direction, you can see it kind of waves and does what it's going to do, and all of those areas flow down to one singular point. And I've talked about this. This is not a three-sided surface. Even though I'm going down to a point, it is not a three-sided surface. It is a fourth-sided surface, but that fourth side, where it goes down to a point, is infinitely small. So all it does is it takes all of the parameters, the parameterization, the control points, the hulls, everything, and just collapses everything down into one point. When you use this for any sort of post-processing, potentially fillets could fail, offsets could fail, thicknesses, anything of that nature could potentially fail because of that odd bunching that occurs. And the more complex the sections, the more likely things are to fail. And again, this is one of those cases that just because it can be done doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So we see that. How do we get around it? Actually, let me just undo that. And what I have is I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to bring this section, and you'll notice that I got a couple of other sections set up. Now, this is a four-sided segment. Actually, let me bring this back. You'll see everything is identical between the two sections except for this cutoff corner. So basically, all I've done is I've extended this necessary section out to get the natural corner. And I'm just going to hide that. Now when I go into my swept, and I go from section 1, section 2, guide, you'll notice that it falls right in, and I'm using by parameter. This is perfectly clean. Very elegant, simple. I'm not forcing a shape to happen. Select OK. Now, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do another swept. This time, section 1, section 2, and my guide curve. So for all intents and purposes, I have the shape that I need in this area. Actually, I have a little bit more control, because with this, I have an angle set up on that section, and I can change this angle if I need to adjust that shape. So I have a little bit more control on that section technically, and you may need that. I don't know, you may not. But all I've done is I've just drawn those two curves, and I've drawn a big sheet body, made a big surface there. If I go into my curve now, and I don't even have to do this, but you can, because you can see it plain as day, that is what my isoparms look like. Clean, very easy. Now at this point, you're just going to simply want to go in and trim the body. All right, so I want to trim this to that. So what do we have? Well, we have a very clean, let me hide all that. We have a very clean surface. Now it's going to be nearly identical to what was there before with a not so clean surface. So if I go back into my curve, and because I used that trim body and I look at that, you can see the parameterization is perfect. It's clean. It's wonderful. It's exactly what we want. And again, I have some parameters in here that allow me to make some modifications to this shape. Whereas if I had just left it the other way, I wouldn't have that capability. So this is one of those things that really understanding what the tool is doing is critical to get the best shape. I see it all the time. A lot of people will loft or mesh down to one point, and they try to use that for post-processing, whatever that may be. And if there's curvature in both directions, in this case it's linear, but if there are curvature in both directions, as that curvature, that circular shape, let's say on this edge right over here, if this were bowed out as a circle, and that comes down into that point, well, now you have the potential for minimum radius that get down to 0.1 or 0.5 of a mil, tiny little, even smaller 0.01 of a mil radii in that corner, which again would cause failures with offsets, which will cause failures with fillets. So this is now perfect. It's nice, clean, smooth, and no major surface whoopsie-doos or interruptions. Again, just because it'll do it with the swept, through curve mesh will make things down to a point. Through curves will allow you to do things by point as well. Just because it allows you to do it doesn't mean it's the right way to do it. Sometimes you have to do it. It's unavoidable. But like in this case, a lot of times you can just simply create the shape that you want and trim away to get the most desired result. Thanks. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below in the comment section. If you like the video, please like it. Share with your friends. Very important that you share and get the word out. I really appreciate that. And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you can, please, again, make sure you get it out to your friends. Have them ask questions. I really enjoy questions. I try to get to you as quickly as I possibly can. Can't always get to you right away. I do have a regular day job, so it keeps me kind of busy. But anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day.